Okay, so there is a lot that we don't know, even though we think we do. This is one of the implications of my hypothesis of relative understanding. Here's how it works. In another video, I showed you this formula. This is the formula that explains the first part of the hypothesis. Understanding, I don't know if you can see this. Okay, understanding equals proximity times ability. Proximity is of three types: space, time, and scale. And ability is of two types: sensing ability and intellectual ability. Sensing ability is of five types: see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. And I'm simply pointing out what seem, I don't know, obviously, we can only understand things about the world around us that can be translated in such a way so as to be sensed by one of these five things. We got to be able to see it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or hear it. Now, I know that scientists are out there sensing all sorts of things that we can't immediately see, hear, taste, touch, or smell, like radioactive waves, for instance. However, the scientists have sensing instruments and equipment that translate those things into one of the five senses, into a graph on a piece of paper or a screen that we can see, or into a sound that we can hear. Those are the two most common ways. All data received from the universe must be translated into one of these five things. If not, we have no idea that it's happening. In terms of the formula, you see, these five things are what I mean by sensing ability. And if this becomes zero, if we cannot sense by one of these five ways something going on out there in the universe, this becomes zero, and it's multiplied by this, so this becomes zero, which is multiplied by this. The whole thing is zero. Zero understanding of anything that does not come to us through one of these five channels. Okay, so that there is a lot we don't know, and I mean a lot. I mean unimaginable amounts of stuff going on in the world that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Who knows how much stuff is going on out there? There's so much unexplained. First of all, things that we can sort of pick up through our abilities, and there are gaps in understanding. But even more than that, there must be a lot of stuff that's going on that we're just totally clueless about. Okay, and that's okay. That's okay. Here's the problem. The problem is that we think we know more than we do. It would be fine if we as human beings, or if I as an individual, simply accepted the limits of my knowledge and lived at scale within the limits of my understanding. But human nature isn't like that. We love to presume things, and that's what gets us in trouble. I explained in another video how there's basically three kinds of information: what we know, what we don't know, and what we presume. And it's always what we presume to know, what we think we know, that gets us in trouble. So here's what I'm talking about. We are always, as human beings, trying to improve upon nature. Improve upon nature, I don't get that. I mean, of course, I get that. I'm standing here drinking a nice cup of coffee. This is an improved upon nature. I'm not chomping on a raw coffee bean, and this is a better experience for me than chomping on a raw coffee bean. So, okay, I get that. It's nice to improve upon nature, but it is based on a presumption that we know what we're doing. And presumptions have unintended consequences. Nature is pretty darn perfect all by itself. Yet, we try to replicate it and improve upon it. I don't think we will ever, we humans, make a machine that flies nearly as well as a bird. I don't think we will ever make a machine that swims nearly as well as a dolphin. The reason is because these species have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, and we've only been here a short time. And it is presumptuous and arrogant for us to think that we can, in such a short time, replicate or improve upon natural phenomena without unintended consequences. I don't think we will ever build a machine that travels across the land as well as a wolf. Well, you might say. What about the automobile? Automobiles are awesome. Of course they travel across the land better than wolves. They can carry 4 people, some can carry dozens of people, they're fast, they're air conditioned, and they even have radios. Automobiles are pretty awesome. You might say it's a better way to travel than sniffing through the undergrowth like a wolf. But I'm here to say that the wolf has sustained that way of travel at scale with themselves and their surroundings for hundreds of thousands of years. Hundreds of thousands? I don't know. For a long, long time. The automobile, it works now. It works great. But it requires that we build roads. And it requires that we extract petroleum products from the earth. And it requires that we pollute the air. And we don't yet know the long-term consequences of traveling by automobiles. It's actually looking pretty grim. So I know that I'm being oversimplistic, but I hope you can see the case that I'm trying to make. And I think that the same case can be made for every machine that we have made that is allegedly an improvement upon nature. Because these things that we have made are based on presumptions. What we think we know based on our abilities. That was amazing. I just saw a bird dive and catch a fish. And, yep. Wow. Okay. So we are, we have made some big decisions as human beings. We have done some big things. We have caused huge impacts to our Earth without full understanding of the consequences. And that's my only point. I don't, maybe it seems like I'm complaining. I don't mean to be complaining. I love my coffee, and I love my video camera, and I love my automobile. I'm just trying to say how I think it is. And how I think it is that there's a lot that we don't know. And we get ourselves into trouble when we think we do.